Hey gang, I just released SOFA 3.2, which has a few new features and some improvements to workflows. So let's get into what the details are. The first thing I want to talk about is trash. So trash is intended to give you an extra layer of safety when you make a mistake, whether you're accidentally deleting a list or an item or something like that. So the intention here is that you won't really have to go through trash very often, but it's a nice little backup. So if you tap on the More button at the top, now you'll see trash underneath themes. And there you go. So anything that you've deleted, lists and list items will go in here. So let's walk through how this works now. So let's say that I go to my Harry Potter list, and let's say that I actually don't want to read one of these, say like Chamber of Secrets, because that's the worst of the Harry Potter series. And so now when I hit the More button here, before it would say delete, now it says move to trash. So when I tap move to trash, it'll give you a little message, and you just tap move to trash, right? You get a little message. So now if I go back here to trash, I will see that that is there, which is very nice. Now what I can do, everything in trash is essentially read only. Very few things you're going to be able to interact with, and that's intentional, so you don't kind of like mess stuff up. But you can kind of see what the thing is here, and you do get the option to either restore it or just completely get rid of it if you want. So that's one. So now let's look at, say, Christmas movies. So let's say that I've watched all these, maybe it's just like a seasonal list that I have that I make, and I no longer want it. So what I can do is, you can do this two ways. One is you can tap on the More button here and hit move to trash, or you can long press on the list here and tap move to trash, and that will get rid of it. And then if I go up to trash here, there you go, it's in there. So again, if you accidentally delete a list or a list item, it'll be safely stored in trash. And there's no time limit to this. I know a lot of different apps will say, oh, after 30 days we get rid of everything. That 30 days is kind of arbitrary, and I don't want to kind of make an assumption for what someone would want here. So it's always, it's permanently in trash until you actually remove it from trash. But if I tap on this Christmas list, I can see the items that were in there, right? So this is not groundbreaking stuff. Trash is a pretty basic feature, but something that has finally come to SOFA, which is nice. So again, you can either restore or permanently delete these things, whether it's a list or a list item. So that is all fair game. And if you have a bunch of stuff in here and you just want to get rid of it, you can just tap empty trash up at the top, and this will permanently delete everything. So everything in trash. So make sure you really want to do this, and then once you hit trash, you'll get a little loading message, and then it'll be deleted. You'll be done. So that is trash. So the next thing I want to talk about is sorting. So within a list, you can sort the items in a list here. So if I tap on the More button here, I can sort by the date it was added, either old to new, or I can sort by title A to Z, or Z to A. And that's all great. But you can now sort your groups and your list on this homepage here. So previously they were only sorted alphabetically, A to Z, but now you have the option to choose how you want to sort them, and you can choose those sorting options independently. So let's walk through how that would work. So again, you have your kind of like main system list at the top here, and then kind of your generic group, like empty group for your list, and everything else is groups that you can make with various lists, right? So I have a lot. But what you can do is, now if I go up here, so you have two independent sorting options for groups and for lists. So if I choose group, so you get the option to sort by the creation date, the edited date, and the title. So from old to new, or A to Z, however you want to do that, and you get those same options for sorting lists as well. So what I personally prefer with this is I actually like to sort by the the edit date from new to old. That way the things I've been interacting with the most recently are kind of bubbled to the top, which is pretty convenient. And I have that set for both the groups and for lists. But if I wanted to, I could choose, say, well, I want my groups to be A to Z, right? So then I have books here, favorites, right? That's A to Z, games, holidays, that kind of thing. And I want my list to be A to Z as well. That'll change all that stuff. Or I can change it and have, well, maybe I just want my groups to be edited new to old and have those up here, right? And then my list, say, I'll keep those. Actually, for demo, let's go back to how I prefer it. Okay, so now what triggers this kind of stuff? So basically, when we think about edit, when you've edited a group or edited a list, there's a couple things you can do there. One is, say you've removed something, or you've added something to a list, or you've created a note or edited a note, or maybe you change the name of a list or change the name of a group, that kind of thing. All those little changes to something will kind of trigger the edit state to change for either a list or a group. So, for example, let's say that I want to add a sticky note here, right? So if we look, this group and list is at the bottom, or sorry, at the top but below test. So let's actually do it on this. So let's do a little sticky note here. I really need to watch this. Right, and I hit save, so that's good. And if I go back, so now what you'll see is the Kimmy and Sean group is at the top, and TV shows is now at the top because I just edited that stuff, and test is below it. So I'll show you this again. So let's say that I want to, let's do Order of the Phoenix, and say I want to put that on the shelf. So I now put that on the shelf, that's good. So now test is above Kimmy and Sean, right, with that list. So this is actually a really nice way to kind of tweak how you want to sort items or not sort items, all good. And giving a little more power that wasn't there before, so enjoy. And lastly, there's two very small workflow improvements. The first one is for logging items to activity. This has been something I've been trying to get right, that I've kind of struggled with over the past few months, but I think I finally got it down. And this is really triggered by a lot of feedback from all of you, so thank you for that feedback. But now logging something to activity is much simpler and way more straightforward. So now if I want to log something to activity, I literally just have one action here, not two like it was before, and I can hit log. It logs it to activity, and it keeps this item in the list by default. And if you want to remove the item from the list, that's where the trash is. So you can chuck it in the trash. So now if I go to activity, you'll see Kung Fu Panda there. There's trade-offs with different approaches here, but this one is by far the fastest and the most straightforward and the easiest to understand from all of the other iterations that I had. So that's an improvement. The second one is the ability to copy and move items back to the pile. So the pile is definitely an opinionated workflow, but there was a part of it that was a little too opinionated and not as flexible as it maybe could have been. So now, if you want to move things, right, so you do have the option to either copy or move items between different lists, you now get the option to copy something to the pile or move something to the pile if that kind of fits your workflow or style. So that's it for Sofa 3.2. I hope you enjoyed the update, and if you haven't yet, head to the App Store, download Sofa, and start enjoying your downtime a little bit more. See ya.